We're celebrating this morning with State Auditor Jim Zeigler. Jim, good morning to you, sir.
Well, it's good to be back home, Jimmy Dale.
It is, and busy night for you last night too, wasn't it?
We did. We had a wonderful political forum for the Sylacauga city elections. We had the candidates for mayor and city council, and I was blessed to MC the forum, and I really enjoyed it. Had a good crowd, and now people that weren't able to come can still see it. They can see it here on TV 47.
Right after us this morning.
That's right. And just stay tuned after Daybreak show. And
were you surprised that 24 candidates for a community our size? That's pretty good participation.
It is, and those that run for the city elections and their families and their supporters are making a sacrifice of their time and their money, and they want to make the community better, and they had some good ideas, and I think that's a good thing. It's healthy to have competition like that.
Absolutely. State Auditor Jim Zeigler, our guest this morning, and the local election will be Tuesday. And I don't know if I've ever seen you in the last number of years without your patriotic tie. How many of those you got now?
29 of them, and I've got one of them on this morning. And last night, I knew it was going to be hot in front of all those stage lights on the platform, and I didn't wear my tie. I just never do that, and I'm glad it got hot. You know, all that hot air from the politicians.
Absolutely. A nice crowd on hand last night, too.
They did. The sponsors, the 6 media sponsors, including TV 47, did a great job of getting the word out, and each of the candidates, of course, had their own supporters there, and between all that, J. Craig Smith was not full, but almost full.
Absolutely. Now, shifting gears a little bit, is the state lottery dead?
It does appear to be. There's a slight chance that they could reach some compromises today for a vote later today, but the support was not there, it was nowhere near there in a vote yesterday, and there's all kind of reasons for that. There are conflicting lottery proposals on how to do it, and each side doesn't want to vote for the others because they want theirs. And the Jefferson County senators and representatives don't want it on the November 8th ballot because they think it would hurt the Republican candidates in Jefferson County. And then there are people with simply moral objections to increased gambling who think the social costs. So you add all that up, and it's hard to get a 3/5 majority to pass the thing. It's no ordinary 50%. You have to get 2/3, 3/5, 60%.
What about Governor Bentley's proposal?
The problem that I see is this. I had heard about a week ahead of time that he was going to announce a special session for a lottery. And so I worked on 3 questions to ask, and as soon as he made the proposal, I asked him, hadn't been answered yet. Here are the questions. What are the safeguards that would keep the Bentley supporters from seeking multi-million-dollar unbid contracts with the Lottery Commission? They're not there. What are the safeguards to keep the Bentley supporters from creating $200,000 a year jobs with expense accounts for their friends and girlfriends? Safeguards aren't there. What are the safeguards to keep the Montgomery insiders from diverting the money earned by the lottery to their pet political projects? The safeguards are not in that bill. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, I'm for a lottery. We don't need all these people going to Georgia buying lottery tickets, but I don't trust this bunch. They haven't been good stewards of the money they've got now, and they won't be good stewards of any more money.
Do you, what's your personal feelings on the lottery, Jim?
I decided at that point that since I'm the auditor, the money man, the accountability man, that I would maintain that is my position, that I would question each of the proposals on accountability and safeguards and not endorse or oppose any of them. And that has been effective so far. Some of the legislators have said, you know, he's right, there aren't safeguards in this thing. And if it were passed and ratified by the voters, what safeguards would there be?
State Auditor Jim Zeigler, our guest this morning. So, no lottery. How are we going to fix this money problem?
The BP compromise bill that passed the House on Tuesday and is now before the Senate fixes the Medicaid shortfall and the general fund shortfall. And it's kind of interesting how it does it. It pays off almost all of the money that our legislature borrowed from the Alabama Trust Fund and the Rainy Day Fund with a promise to pay it back by 2020. And Jimmy Dale, they haven't been able to pay it back.
Paid much back on that.
No, they have not. And so all of a sudden you got this $850 million pot of money coming in for the state of Alabama. So that bill pays off most of that, which in turn frees up $70 million for this next fiscal year that doesn't have to be used to pay those debts back. That just happens to be the exact amount of money that Medicaid is short. Now you've heard of $85 million that they're short. Well, they already saved $15 million by eliminating the doctor's bump or pay increase that they got under an Obamacare mandate in 2013. They've eliminated that because it's no longer mandated. And so now they have come up with a way to solve the Medicaid problem.
Would it be safe to say that you're not the most popular person in Montgomery?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the many reasons it's good to be here this morning, is to be out of Montgomery. I have not won the Mr. Congeniality Award in Montgomery, and I said this during the campaign in 2014 that I was going to be a watchman for the taxpayers, and I was going to be a monitor of waste and corruption in government, and I've done that. This is a historical occasion this morning, Jimmy Dale. You don't realize it. This is my 19-month anniversary as a state auditor right here on the Daybreak Jimmy Dale Abrams show.
Our ratings will go out the ceiling over that one for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Jim Zeigler, state auditor, our guest this morning. Is this situation with Governor Bentley and all the bad news that came out of the divorce and the woman he was supposedly seeing and the head of the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency, is this going to go away?
I wish it would. The air needs to be cleared one way or the other, and it's not happening. The House impeachment investigation is going nowhere. It's just sitting there not moving. They do not appear to be serious about completing the investigation or even much starting the investigation. There are 4 separate investigations of Governor Bentley. Now that sounds like a good thing. It's not. Each one of the 4 is sitting back waiting on one of the others to go forward and do the heavy lifting. You've seen that before in life. And you've got the feds investigating. You've got the Montgomery County Grand Jury. You've got the Ethics Commission investigation that I initiated with an ethics complaint. And you've got the House impeachment investigation. They're just sitting there, and I would predict that the only way that Governor Bentley would be removed is if he is indicted by the federal or state grand juries, convicted. That would automatically remove him, as it did the former Speaker Mike Hubbard. Or if he were indicted and resigned as a part of a favorable plea bargain agreement, not to have to go to jail and lose whatever Miss Diane Bentley didn't take already. You don't worry much about losing your assets in a criminal conviction when you already lost it in your behind closed doors divorce.
How embarrassing is this for our state?
Well, it is. I've seen late night TV hosts nationally making jokes about Governor Bentley, and Alabama, and the former Speaker Mike Hubbard throwing him in the mix, and that's not good. It's better to be known for football and beaches and beautiful tourism and beautiful country and wonderful people and country music and NASCAR racing. Those are all good things. But scandals in the governor's office, they get old real fast.
19 months on the job. How have you found our state as far as your position? Is it about like you thought it would be, or much different, or
worse?
Okay.
I knew things were not good when I went in, and I said that during the campaign, but I did not know they were this bad. Things are a mess in Montgomery, and when I sometimes get discouraged or frustrated, those buzzards down there, I can say that here in Buzzards Roost.
Sure.
Those buzzards down there will do something else to really tick me off, and that motivates me. That can be a motivating, positive factor to see something that needs to be stood up to, and thinking that if I didn't stand up to this, who would? Sometimes nobody. Some of the things I've brought out wouldn't have been brought out had I not been there. So I feel like I'm where I need to be. State
Auditor Jim Zeigler, our guest for a couple of more minutes, and I always appreciate Jim's openness and have the opportunity to sit down with him. You're a hometown guy.
I am. I've got here in our live audience.
That's right.
The president of my class at Sylacauga High School.
I thought you was about to say the president of your fan club.
Well, he might be that. I don't have a fan club, but I might start a dark money fan club, with a bunch of millions of dollars. But Tommy Hebson, the longtime proprietor of the Palace Drug Company, is our class president.
How'd you get him up so early?
It's a rare thing. If it hadn't been for the Jimmy Dale Abrams Daybreak, he wouldn't be up till yet.
Jim Zeigler, State Auditor, our guest, and you got a lot of history here in Talladega County and Sylacauga, and it's such an honor to have you with us today.
Well, it's great. It's great to be back, and people keep telling me every time you come back, you look more like your daddy, and
that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Your dad was a mayor of Oak Grove for how many terms?
20 years,
Wow.
5 terms.
Final moments with the State Auditor Jim Zeigler this morning. What do you foresee in the next year in Alabama with all the stuff we got on the table?
I am hopeful that this week or next, the BP compromise bill will pass the legislature and be signed by Governor Bentley. Now, there's no guarantee. If there's a way to mess it up, somebody down there will think of it and do it. But that would, for the time being, solve the Medicaid problem and the shortfall in the general fund. And then they've got from now to February 7th in 2017 to come up with a longer term solution. Now, I've got several ideas. There are tens of millions of dollars you could save here and here. Can you believe they're not listening to me? I do not
imagine that.
Yes. And maybe someday they'll figure out, well, we've tried everything else. Why don't we go over?
Jim, is that frustrating to see all these holes we need to fill and all the monies that are available if we do the right thing?
It is. And it's so easy just to do the right thing and do a general financial audit of the entire state government. And you save $1 million here, $5 million there, 10. Pretty soon you're talking about real money.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Hey, I appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you, Jimmy Dale.
And now then you're on to your next stop, which is conquering more world's problems right across the street.
Yes, the Wright and Sprayberry Coffee Club. That's where we learn more than any time of the day.
We've had a lot of conversation with Jim down through the years and this morning too, and we laugh a lot, but this guy is worth listening to. And we appreciate you sharing this morning. And I hope our audience enjoyed you as much as I did. If they did, it's been a good morning.
Thank you. Thank you.